Hi,
Hey,
how
Mrs.
are you?
Gang, how you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good.
Alright, so while we're getting comfortable, how are you? How you doing this week?
Good. Finally feel 18.
Woo, party.
Finally legal.
Do anything good that's appropriate to talk about in here?
No.
Did you do anything that's not appropriate to talk about in here?
No.
Alright. Alright, so just want to talk about some things before we jump on to what we did last week. So once again, anything you say in here, completely confidential unless you want to wish harm onto others or onto yourself. Also, I forgot to mention last time that I'll be taking some notes just because it helps me stay better in the conversation. Are you okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, awesome. So, last week we talked about how you're a little lost on trying to find a college because you've got some family stuff that has a lot to do with it. Is that right?
Yes.
Alright, so your homework was to do what?
Find 3 schools.
And how do you do with that?
I looked at them, but nothing really serious.
Alright, so what schools did you look at?
ACCC, the community college.
Right.
And I looked at Stockton as well.
Okay.
And I looked at Rutgers, New Brunswick.
Alright. So Rutgers, New Brunswick is, I'm hoping the furthest from your house since I know you live right here
Yes.
in Atlantic City. So, let's talk a little bit about the community college first. Since it is a community college, that means that you can go to either Stockton or Rutgers, New Brunswick when you're done. Is that something that you are looking to do, or you want to stay at one school all 4 years?
I want to stay at one school for all 4 years.
Okay, so we do want one school. Okay, so then that's kind of your, so ACCC is kind of like your absolute safety school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not really a 4-year school.
I don't know, did the other students tell you the joke about it's like the acronyms are standing for like anyone can come college?
Oh, I've heard that. There's also one that's closer to where I grew up, which was, it was community college also, so it's actually called BCC, but they refer to it as LSU, the Lincroft State University, or there's also UCLA, the university closest to the Lincroft area. So, trust me, there's nothing wrong with community college, it's just 2 years instead of all 4 years, and one, it's cheaper, so since you are in a little bit of a rough situation, that's definitely something that you can keep in mind for when we start looking at other colleges. So, Stockton compared to Rutgers. Stockton's close, Rutgers not so much. So what do you think is the main difference between those two schools?
Bigger campuses. Like, well, what I was looking online was like, they have a football team.
Mm-hmm.
Stockton doesn't really have anything. Stockton is, I go to visit Stockton, it's everybody I know from back home.
Mhm.
Just a bunch of other people I don't want to know.
Okay. So you're pretty much telling me that you don't really like Stockton because it's just high school all over again,
Yeah.
kind of. Compared to Rutgers, which would be what kind of experience?
Kind of like that Van Wilder experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Van Wilder kind of lifestyle. Alright, so thinking about that, you have Stockton, which is, it's just this, again, compared to Rutgers, which would be very different experience. Which one do you think would fit you better?
I don't know, to be honest.
Alright, so then let's look at it this way. Stockton, would you commute or would you stay at school?
Probably commute.
Okay. Compared to Rutgers, New Brunswick, which is 2 hours, 3 hours?
Like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half, okay. My time's a little off because I'm a little bit older and I don't have a lead foot on the gas pedal. Since you're just 18, it's a little bit of a habit that we're going to try not to get into, correct?
Yes.
Alright, so Rutgers would be an hour and a half drive. So with that being said, how do you think being at Rutgers would affect your brothers? Last time you mentioned that they would have to, step up to the plate more.
I mean, I don't know, I feel like I just wanna branch off and get a break away from it.
Okay.
You know, I was just like tired of it.
What
They're-
are you?
They're probably like 17 too. So it's like, why me?
Yeah. So, what part is that you want to break from it?
The responsibility.
Okay.
Just feel like I've gone through a lot. Like, I wanna be a kid.
Right. And you think going to college is gonna be an easier way to do that?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like all my cousins telling me like it's more freedom and whatnot, it's the best thing you could do.
Is this the cousin that goes to Michigan? Or no? Just kind of cousin's military. Yeah. See,
Mhm.
I pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, like even with that option of going to the military, I wouldn't mind it either. It's like, it's give me a reason to be away.
Right. So, you mentioned that your cousin was in the military and how you don't want any of that responsibility of your family that much anymore. But don't you think the military would also be a very responsible environment for you?
Yeah, but I feel like it's time for me to focus on myself
Okay.
as well.
And you think the military would help you do that a little bit more?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, my cousin told me about him traveling and whatnot. Like, since they're not really in a war right now,
Mhm.
all he does is really like go from station to station, just travel.
Right. Okay. But then, do you think his experience is like every other person in the military's experience?
Maybe not, I don't know.
So how do you think maybe you can find out about other people's experience?
Probably going to like the other branches offices and whatnot. 'Cause I remember last time I told you I wanted to do the Marines, but
Right.
if not, I'll probably go to the Air Force if I
Mhm.
just want to be safe. So I guess I just talk to like the recruiters and see what they say.
Is this something that you're definitely serious in, or you just think it might just be the best option because you get to be by yourself and you could still get away?
I don't think, it's probably like one of my backup plans.
Okay.
Just in case, because at the same time, I know it's like, my cousin was telling me about like, you gotta take tests and whatnot. If you don't score like a certain point, like the ASVAB that they have, like if you score like a 30, you go right into infantry for the Marines. And like, that's like usually in combat. Like, I mean, I wouldn't mind killing people, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think I'm a killer.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you kind of have to figure out, you have to do a lot of self-reflection to be in the military, because like you said, you know, if you score over a certain thing, you're gonna go right into the infantry, compared to if you don't do as well, you might be second line, third line, fourth line kind of thing. So I think you have to kind of know more about yourself and what you want before maybe start really exploring that route, because there are some heavier things that you'll deal with in the military compared to just going to Rutgers or Stockton or ACCC. It's definitely, I think it's definitely a good backup plan, and I'm happy that you have that backup plan in place, but I want to kind of focus more on our first line of attack. So, let's talk a little bit more about, you want to talk a little bit more about Rutgers and Stockton, or you want to kind of talk more about your family and that responsibility stuff?
I mean, the family thing, it's alright, but I'm kinda interested in going to college, that's all.
Okay, so let's focus maybe more on where we're going to go, and then look, once you get accepted, because that's gonna happen, right?
I'm hoping.
We're hoping, then we can figure out how we're gonna deal with all the family stuff. Sound like a plan? Alright, so, why Rutgers, New Brunswick compared to Rutgers, Newark, or Rutgers, Camden?
Everybody that I talk to is like, Rutgers, New Brunswick is where you have to go. That's the original campus. That's where everything is at. Like, especially when I was looking online, I saw how they have like so much departments there. That's why, because it's like it's one of the largest one. And Plus, Newark is a little bit too far, Camden is a little bit too close,
Okay, so.
and I'm not trying to be shut up.
Well, just so you know, both of those campuses, Newark and Camden, are safely protected. Yes, they're in the middle of these two notorious cities in Jersey, but you're on your own campus in it.
I don't trust it.
There's security and there's all that stuff.
What about
Just
it?
so you know,
Okay.
there are those two things. But if you do, like, if you were to go to Camden, you do have Philly right there, which is a whole nother college scene. If you go to Newark, you have New York City, which is another completely separate college scene. So there are other things around there besides just Rutgers Newark and Rutgers Camden. And you will not get shot at because they do have security guards and all that kind of stuff. But I get where you're coming from with the whole safety point of view. And I'm glad that you're not looking to get shot up at. So, you mentioned that they have a lot of departments. What kind of things and departments are you looking at?
I don't know. I was thinking about like becoming an engineer, or I don't know, like something that makes money. I don't like business though. It's just like I don't like numbers. But I mean, I want to help people too.
Mhm.
But I don't know what I want to do. I might just go there as like undecided and do like a 5-year plan instead.
Alright, so I hear that you're saying you would like to maybe be an engineer, and you like money, but you don't like numbers. And then you're kind of just, you want to help people, and then you want to kind of maybe go in undecided and have a 5th-year plan. Kind of? Okay. So, you like money, but you don't like business. Now, how are you doing in your math classes? Pretty well from what I've seen on your progress reports.
I mean, it's because the professors, the teachers, my coach. So, I don't know. I just be passing them. And plus, like, I have my girlfriend next to me in class, so she helped me out.
List of things that you don't tell your school counselor is that your girlfriend sits next to you and sometimes your eyes wander. The list of things that we don't tell. So we're just gonna keep that between you and I, and you're going to start maybe going to your coach after class and being like, can you help me out so I don't have to do the things that I've been doing in the past
4 years, yeah.
4 years? Yeah. Well, eventually your girlfriend might not be there to help you with all of your classes. Right?
I mean, I could still call it.
You could still call her for your help, yes, but sometimes it's very hard to do a paper when your girlfriend has no idea what you're talking about. Very true. So, numbers but not business. So what kind of things involve numbers but not business? What kind of stuff can you think of?
Numbers, but not business.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well what part about business do you not like?
I just don't want to do like all that extra stuff, like algebra, trig numbers, like
Okay.
all those. Like that's what I think of business when I first hear it. Is like you gotta use these equations, like E = MC².
Mhm. That's physics. But
Close enough.
it is close enough. But there are some types of business where you don't need to use math as much. For example, if you did maybe business management, that uses economics. So that's money. You know, it's macroeconomics, it's microeconomics, which is all about money. It's how to work a business from every aspect. So you'll learn accounting, money. You'll learn about different liberal arts when you're in a business program. So it has a wide range of things, but deals with numbers. That's not money. I mean, that is money, and not algebra or trig or all that kind of stuff. So that could be something that we're,
That's
Maybe,
it could be
yes.
an option, yeah.
all right, it's an option, okay, option.
I just don't want to do anything with those crazy numbers. That's what like trying to find like certain valuables or whatnot.
Okay, so we don't like the valuables. That's kind of what we want to stay away from. So, engineer, what do you think they do?
Basically, I don't know, build cars.
They could possibly build cars. That's an option.
Build cars. I don't know. It's just like I was looking at it. I was reading somebody's blog quote that they had, and it said that he got like a job at some company, and and he's making like at least $60K a year right off the rip.
Well, that's lovely, but I'll be honest with you, that's not always realistic to get 60K right off the bat. Trust me, it's very difficult especially with the economy the way it is, it's very difficult to get that much right off the bat. But there are different types of engineering that may be interesting to you. Like there's environmental engineering where you work with scientists who they do all the valuable work with all the variables and numbers and stuff. And then you work together as a team, to figure out what would be the best way to help conserve more water by using this kind of dam compared to this kind. And like those different kinds of things. So that could be something that's of interest to you, maybe, yes?
Yeah.
So let's look into the different types of engineering. And we can do that too. So then helping people. What about helping people do you like?
Just hoping. I mean, I like coaching like the youth football team
Okay.
that I have dealt with. And sometimes I volunteer as a soup kitchen, but that's like mandatory because of football.
So if you didn't have football, you wouldn't be volunteering at a soup kitchen, you don't think?
Maybe not.
Maybe not? Alright, so then here's a question for you. Football's over in 2 months. You'll be a senior, you'll graduate, you'll be done with football. Would you go back to the soup kitchen? Even if it's not mandatory?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, why yes, why no?
Oh yeah, it's just like I remember when I first did it, it was like pretty cool because I interacted with a couple of people. They told me their stories and whatnot, and how they're trying to get back on their feet. And every time we go once a month, and I mean, like I still keep up with them, talk to them and whatnot, see how they're doing. But I want to help them, but I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I don't have the money. I mean, I would donate, like,
Mm-hmm.
a couple dollars to them, do what they do, but at the same time. And there's days when I just feel like I'm lazy, I just don't want to leave. Like, I got stuff going on, that's why.
Okay.
It's not like I want to turn my back away from it,
Right. So you want to help, but you feel like you sometimes can't because you don't have the monetary means maybe, but you still want to help them and catch up with them and hear their stories kind of thing, right? Compared to some days you don't want to go because you're lazy like almost every high schooler is, and you've got other stuff going on with football and then with crew coming up and your family stuff that's going on and trying to figure out college and then regular homework on top of that. It's a lot to handle at any age, of course, but that sometimes interferes with your volunteering, right? So what if there was a way that you could volunteer or you could donate without money? Like you could donate your time, like you have been volunteering in the soup kitchen. Do you think maybe that's something that you want to keep in, like you want to help people, but is that something that you want to do for the rest of your life?
Maybe. If I get paid for it, yeah, why not?
If I get paid for it.
Why not?
Okay. Alright, so last time you mentioned this, that you have a brother, your youngest brother has autism.
Yes.
Is that something that you think you would like to pursue as a career, or you kind of want to stay away from that?
I don't know. I want to help people, but at the same time, I know how he is, and I don't think I have the patience. Because the way I handle him might be different handling somebody else.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, and I think that's something that is very up and coming right now, working with students who have special needs, that there's still so much research and stuff to be done in that field that, maybe someone who has that background, i.e. you, can even bring something into that field that no one has seen before. Because a lot of times right now, all the research that's being done is from parents. So a lot of times they don't see that perspective from a sibling. So that's always one you could think of too, maybe. Just an idea, just some brainstorming while we're here, because that is a population that does need more help than others may need. Lots of noises going on right now. Alright, so we've talked about colleges, mainly we focused on New Brunswick and Rutgers, and how you don't like numbers, but you know, maybe you're kind of opening up to business a little bit more, but overall, you just wanna help people. That's really the vibe that I'm picking up from you, right? So, we only have a couple minutes left. Do you want to keep trudging down that path, or is there something else that you want to talk about?
Probably keep trudging on that path.
Trudging down that path? Alright. So, would you like to focus on New Brunswick some more? We could focus on Stockton a little bit, or our backup plans of the community college and military.
I really want to get into Rutgers.
You really want to get into Rutgers?
I want to be a Scarlet Knight.
Okay, so you want to be a Scarlet Knight. But, there's a but. Don't worry about the but then. We can work on the but. Sometimes we don't always get into our number one school, and that's why we have backup plans for everything in life. So you always have a spare tire in your car. When one goes flat, you have a backup plan. But if you cannot become a Scarlet Knight, would you want to become a Black Knight for Army? Or would you rather just be an Air Force Falcon? Have you explored all of the military options, or just kind of what your family knows?
I mean, I just explored the Marines and the Air Force, I said.
Okay. So we have Marines, Air Force. What other branches are there? There's the Army.
I know the Army, the Navy, and the Coast Guard. They don't think of the Coast Guard as one though.
They don't. Some people. Well, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. So, where do the Marines mainly stay? Where are they usually?
What do you mean?
Like, Air Force is always the one in the air. Navy's thought to be the one that's always on the boat. So where do Marines kind of
They're
fall
all
in?
over.
They're all over?
Yeah. That's why they're the first one in, last one out.
First and last. I like that. They remind me of firefighters a little bit.
Okay.
So first one in the fire, last one out. Alright. So then we have the Air Force. Where's Air Force usually?
Usually in the air, the space, you know, on ground.
Air, space, ground. So you have the Army that's normally on the ground. Navy is normally in the water. And then where's the Coast Guard usually?
I'm assuming the water.
I gotta think so too. Which is something, so since we kind of don't know that much about, we can do research on these things and kind of figure them out together. So, Marines all over, first in, last out. So, why don't you, for homework, maybe find out a little bit more about each of the academies. You know, where they're located at and what, in the general term, they do.
Okay.
So this way, when you come in next week, you'd be like, I don't want the Marines, I want to be Army, or I want to be Navy, and I want to be Air Force. And you have all of your supporting data to help you with all of that. So your homework is to look up locations of academies. Alright, so we talked about New Brunswick, and we talked about your backup plans. Your homework is to,
Check up each branches of the military, see what they are.
sounds good. Anything else you want to talk about today? Alright, so then I'll see you again in 1 week. This time works good?
Yeah.
Alright, sounds good then. I'll
That's
see
okay.
you next week, Ty.
I'll see you again.
Just trip on the camera.